basic head bob. Ready, go.
All right, 1:30 in the afternoon on a Friday. Whoops. Pardon me. I can't type. Whoops. There we go. Oh, no. iOS is failing me here. All right. Welcome. Oh, man, we are almost done with fundraising emails and horrible campaign commercials. All right. Thanks for coming along here on a Friday. The email address, radiobradshaw@gmail.com. Follow me on Twitter, twitter.com/radiobradshaw. Just go to thebradshawshow.com. Easily enough foundable on the internet for almost, I have to remember to do this backwards, thebradshawshow.com. For almost all your Bradshaw needs, if there's a need that website doesn't fulfill, I don't want to hear about it. Coming up, Sununu being Sununu, fear of a black president. Conservatives, I know, clutching their pearls once again. And proof positive. And anything Republicans say they hate, despise, bemoan, is not befitting a president, is something that Ronald Reagan did. I'll explain. First, though, this is now, I guess, the time to make your closing arguments, and that's what the Romney campaign is saying, that this is, the final say on the economy. So Mitt Romney is in Ames, I believe, as we speak, celebrating stimulus projects. Not quite. I'll explain. Romney is in Ames today speaking at Kinsler Construction Services. In his speech, he is set to denounce and bemoan the stimulus program. I don't know if he's just not aware or, more to the point, knows that, say, his preferred audience will not be aware and won't, as they say, look it up, that Kinsler actually received almost $680,000 in stimulus projects. Almost $650,000 under stimulus-funded Department of Energy weatherization programs, in addition to $40,000 as a subcontractor on a federal building renovation. But other than that, they built that. On their website, they list a number of featured projects. Schools in Nebraska and Iowa, a new community center here in Iowa, and that beautiful new DART Central Hub just down the street here is a Kinsler project. And to be fair, this is kind of par for the Republican course. When they're not building rainforests in Iowa or, bringing home, well, the bacon in the Farm Bill, we have Steve King. Stimulus is horrible, government spending, //. Mr. King, would you like a seat on the Appropriations Committee? Oh, hell no. Then I actually have to sign off on things to cut, and that seems to be rather unpopular, even among my constituency. When Republicans took back the House, both Steve King and Michelle Bachmann were offered seats on the Appropriations Committee. Both turned it down, because it's much easier to yell from the sidelines than, do something. Then there's, bridges to nowhere. Or maybe my favorite is Paul Ryan, the vice presidential candidate for the GOP. And this was even during his time in the Ayn Rand wilderness. A is A and selfishness is great. He actually spoke at Ayn Rand conferences. Big into that. But it's funny, in 2002, when President Bush was running around trying to whip up support for stimulus, Paul Ryan was right there saying that this is legislation we need to create jobs and help the unemployed. Then the president does it. And if it's done by a Democrat, it's obviously evil. Duh, there's a D next to his name. It can't be good. So this is where Romney is choosing to make his closing statements when it comes to the economy, which again, I find cute. And again, I wish we could be taken out of the swing state. I mean, TV is getting darn near unwatchable these days. I mean, it's just ad after ad after ad. It's piggybacking. It's, you know, back and forth, back and forth. With the way the electoral map is shaking out, our 6 electoral votes probably won't make a difference. It just seems that we are collateral damage in the ad wars, in this, you know, war for the narrative, right? You have to have the big mo. This was Karl Rove's. You know, he believed that in an effort, you know, to gain those last-minute undecided, I'm getting in the car to go to my polling place, even if I'm really not sure who I'm voting for types. The way to get them to break your way was to be seen as the winning candidate, to be seen as, you know, in the lead. So any bit of, you know, momentum. This is why Russian friends are going out and saying, you know, oh, this election's wrapped up for expressly that purpose, because rightfully believes that there are a number of people, and again, you look at some of these states, it doesn't take a whole heck of a lot to put you over the top. Again, this is that sort of self-realization that most people won't ever actually come to, but they want to be on the winning side, and they, you know, the bandwagon sports fans, you know, all of a sudden, I love the Giants. That Willie Mays guy's great. You know, name 3 members of the team. Well, well, there's that panda dude. That sort of thing. I mean, this is just kind of basic psychology 101. And this is what, you know, in 2000, you know, Karl Rove had George Bush campaigning in California to give that, oh, we're going to make, you know, things are so wrapped up, we're going to make a play. Sometimes you'll see candidates, you know, go back to, you know, blood red states, or, you know, deep, deep blue, to try to give the impression, oh, you know, it's such a win. It's so ahead. You know, if you lead the Drudge Report, literally every poll they show shows Romney in the lead. Like, there's no dissension, there's no difference, which is going to be fun on election night when the cries of, because with Acorn around, who are they going to, Acorn's not around anymore, who are they going to blame? They'll find someone. It's why in the past couple of days, the Nate Silver truthers are out and about. Nate Silver runs the 538 blog. His analysis is a bit weak, but his number crunching is second to none. I know this, kind of a baseball fan. I mean, the guy almost single-handedly, you know, created the best, you know, analytical tool. So I know Nate Silver, again, from his baseball days, and then in 2008, he made the full-time switch over to, you know, poll aggregation, in addition to a number of other factors, everything from, you know, the economy. He's got a formula, and of course he keeps it to himself. But his secret, you know, recipe of herbs and spices is pretty much dead on. And as he continues to show, you know, 70, 71, 72% chance of an Obama victory, that goes against the narrative Republicans are wanting to set. So, of course, the unskewing folks are back again. It's funny how they kind of dropped off the map after the first debate and Romney took the lead. But they are back now as sort of, I don't know, unskewing Nate Silver. But I highly recommend the 5. His analysis, the actual, you know, written words can be a bit head-scratching sometime. But when he talks, you know, methodology and the like, it is an interesting read, and his maps are pretty good. So he's a, and again, the guy has a track record, most importantly. But as we move now, heading into the final week, thank God, you know, especially in a place here like Iowa, where the 2016 race is due to set in seriousness in about a year. We're already going to have people at the next Iowa State Fair glad handing, making their name known. Or it was weeks after the '08 election. We had, you know, the Jindals and the like coming here to Iowa just to raise their stature. It's actually for a pretty simple reason. These early polls, like they're already polling Iowa for 2016 candidates. And it's absolutely 100% name recognition at that point. This is how the Giulianis and the Hillary Clintons take those early commanding leads. So it would not surprise me if even before the end of the year we have, "Hi, Iowa Democrats. Hi, Iowa Republicans. Get to know me." Because odds are 2016 is going to be a no-incumbent election, and those are always a hoot. I just want the commercials to be over. And the fundraising emails. My God. I don't know how many lists I'm on, but I wake up with, like, you know, 20, 30 emails sitting in my inbox from, you know, far-flung mayoral races. I get, of course, the Obama ones. Oh, I just want it to stop. So, as everyone kind of hunkers down for that last stretch, you know, it used to be silly season was kind of July, June, get August in there, you know, before the conventions. That was silly season. That's when the kind of weird stories pop up. But I don't know if it's just something in the water or something to do with today's GOP, but this is a weird kind of come down to the end of the race. When Meatloaf is not singing off key for Romney. Well, I'll play the ad first. This popped up last night, and if you are a Republican, you might want to get smelling salts or be near your fainting couch, or if you have a set of pearls to clutch, now is the time. This was an ad put out by Obama. I don't play a lot of just political ads because most of them are awful. Some involve people standing in raincoats, and just most are pretty generic. This one I thought was clever, not so much for what the ad says, but I do almost wonder if the Obama team is trolling at this point. This is Lena Dunham, and this was an ad she did encouraging people to vote.
Your first time shouldn't be with just anybody. You want to do it with a great guy. It should be with a guy with beautiful, someone who really cares about and understands women. A guy who cares whether you get health insurance, and specifically whether you get birth control. The consequences are huge. You want to do it with a guy who brought the troops out of Iraq. You don't want a guy who says, "Oh, hey, I'm at the library studying," when really he's out not signing the Lilly Ledbetter Act. Or who thinks that gay people should never have beautiful, complicated weddings of the kind we see on Bravo or TLC all the time. It's a fun game to say, "Who are you voting for?" And they say, "I don't want to tell you." And you say, "No, who are you voting for?" And they go, "Guess. Think about how you want to spend those 4 years." In college age time, that's 150 years. It's also super uncool to be out and about. Someone says, "Did you vote?" And you go, "No, I wasn't ready." My first time voting was amazing. It was this line in the sand. Before I was a girl, now I was a woman. I went to the polling station, I pulled back the curtain, I voted for Barack Obama.
Do you need a minute to recover? Do you need some smelling salts? Do you have the vapors? So that gets put out last night. A rather innocuous ad, and I have to admit, I'm not the biggest, is it Lena Dunham? I tried to watch like the first few episodes of Girls on HBO. You know, all the hype, and it's so great. I watched the first few, and I wasn't feeling it. It's not my particular cup of tea, but apparently this is a big thing It's like, I don't know, a Sex in the City for the 21st century for early 20s. I can't afford nice pairs of shoes types. I'm not trying to mansplain this. That was my impression. Not a huge fan of the show. What I am a huge fan of, though, is watching the right wing react. And Eric Erickson, CNN contributor, proprietor of Red State, was the first to jump on the pearl clutching bandwagon. Quote, "If you need any further proof, we live in a fallen world destined for hellfire." That was his initial response to that ad. Like, felt like the Memorex guy. Catherine Jean Lopez of the National Review. "Beyond awkward. I'll borrow her super uncool and raise it. Of course, in its way, it is totally appropriate for the administration to think all women care about is mandated birth control, abortions, and sterilization coverage. And those of us with moral objections are bitterly clinging to an outdated understanding of what's healthy for democracy, religious liberty, and in our lives." Ben Shapiro over at Big Government, it's one of the Breitbart sites. "So she chose to do it for the first time with Barack Obama since he cares about and understands women. In fact, he understands them so well, he exploits them for insane commercials comparing losing your virginity with voting. Obama has a young daughter, but that didn't stop him from releasing this commercial because it's what Obama thinks of your daughter." Or this one also over at Red State. "There seems to be no low to which President Obama will sink in his desperate attempt to win re-election. One has to wonder, is there any point at which the mainstream media and the public get some self-respect and toss out this loser? First he asked for your wedding gifts, then your yard sales. Now he has asked for your daughters. He's coming for our white women! Run!" Now, of course, before we try to psychoanalyze the psychos responding to this, may I just go back to the Washington Post, November 1st, 1980. Because, again, it's beneath the president. It is contemptible. It is a sign we live in a fallen world destined for hellfire. For a presidential campaign to make a rather innocuous innuendo with the ultimate message is, you should vote, and you should vote for Barack Obama. Washington Post, November 1st, 1980. On Thursday night, at a working-class bar in New Jersey, patron saint of the Republican Party, Ronald Reagan, peace be upon him, said, quote, "I know what it's like to pull the Republican lever for the first time because I used to be a Democrat. I can tell you, it only hurts for a minute, and then it feels just great." Now, again, just close your eyes and try to imagine Ronald Reagan saying that, first of all. I'm curious, again, how this one disappears down the memory hole. I'm pretty sure Republicans at the time weren't claiming that's a sign we're destined for hellfire. But it just goes, anything Republicans hate, or at least claim to hate, whether it's growing the size of government, raising taxes, granting amnesty, making sexual innuendos about voting. It's something that Reagan did. You know, in spite of their efforts to deify him. The actual Ronald Reagan, who did, reach across the aisle or, well, occasionally reach across all the way to Iran to sell them weapons, would be rhinoed out of the Republican Party in no time. And even before the whole impregnating the maid thing, we saw how, when Arnold Schwarzenegger took office, in California, and it was, hey, maybe we should think about amending the Constitution so that naturalized citizens could run for office, because obviously Arnold Schwarzenegger would make a great president, but he's ineligible. By the time he left office, oh my God, he's a rhino. We have to, destroy him. He's the most awful anything ever. And this is just the Republican Party these days. And it really doesn't matter the topic, the subject, whether it's the white-hot hatred or just, mild disagreement. Doesn't matter. What Republicans don't like today, Ronald Reagan did, including making sexual innuendo jokes. But I'm guessing the diarist at Red State or Catherine Lopez or anyone at the Breitbart sites probably not paying attention to those sorts of things. But again, it's the response. It's like they just know what the response is going to be this time, and the Obama team just has the perfect, like Mitt Romney's trees. Their stick is the right height. It's just short enough to poke them and set them off. I mean, it really is trolling of the highest order, and for that, again, I salute them, because it's great to watch the freak out and to bring attention to the video, number one. And more attention equals more views equals more impressions. I'm good with this. But, reading cheap tricks and one-night stands. This is over at Red State. And this is the kind of analysis that conservatives flock to. The reason Barack Obama is running this ad is because he's done trying to get independent voters. He's given up. Despite campaign rhetoric about fighting for evangelicals, he's given up there. He's given up on Catholic voters. He's given up on the South. He's given up on men who have daughters. He's given up on moms. He's given up on everyone except his core base of singles, gays, and minorities, including college kids. He's desperate to get back to the polls. About the only honest bit of innuendo in this ad is the people who voted for Barack Obama in 2008 have been screwed economically. The problem for Barack Obama is that many of these people believe their vote for him was a one-night stand they'd prefer to forget. Additionally, we know now that Barack Obama, like that one-night stand, probably won't call you back. Just ask the American consulate in Benghazi. Oh, snap. I mean, these guys just lose it. I don't know. It's probably not as subtle as the Republican breaking up with Barack Obama ad. But they're coming for our white women, our daughters. The scary black man. This a week out, a little over a week out from the election, this is what Republicans are running with. Cool. Thanks. I appreciate, as the kids are saying these days. All right, the phone number is 244-0077. Email me, radiobradshaw@gmail.com, and follow me on Twitter, twitter.com/radiobradshaw for all of your Bradshaw needs, including snarky responses to Chuck Grassley and the Iowa GOP. It's all there at thebradshawshow.com. So you can find links to just the audio-only stream if you want to listen on your phone, maybe run through Bluetooth in the car. We can help you out there. The email address is there. Everything's at thebradshawshow.com. When we come back, fear of a black president. John Sununu style. Sorry. That's next. You're on The Bradshaw Show on Webcast One Live. Thanks for watching. Back right after this.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
What's the matter, distressed homebuyer?
I've been trying forever to buy a home, and I'm having a terrible time. I wish I knew where to go for help.
Well, I'm Joe Henry, licensed realtor, and I'm here to save the day and help you buy your home. I've been helping people buy homes in central Iowa for over 10 years. I've even got a full-size truck to help you move.
My hero. Thank goodness I found you. Make Agent Joe Henry your homebuyer hero, too. Visit agentjoehenry.com. That's agentjoehenry.com.
If your computer's not running up to speed, don't waste any time with 1-800 numbers. Call your local professional at Mid-Iowa Computers. Known for excellent customer service, they can help you with all your computer needs, including 100% electronic malware removal. If you've just had enough of your computer or other electronic device, bring it in to Mid-Iowa Computers and they'll recycle it for free. For more information, visit midiowacomputers.com or call 515-210-8536 and get your computer fixed by someone you can trust.
Najee's Mediterranean Grocery Store is a new business in the Drake neighborhood of Des Moines, featuring Middle Eastern products. Najee's offers a wide range of specialty foods at competitive prices, including hummus, falafel, tahini, pita bread, baklava, kosher, vegetarian foods, and Ethiopian injera bread. If you want to add unique ethnic flavors to your cooking, Najee's is the store for you. It's at 1133 42nd Street in Des Moines, just south of University Avenue. Stop by or call 255-3736 for more information. That's Najee's Mediterranean Grocery, 255-3736.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
It's time to start.
Boom, boom, boom.
Rock concert movement number 1.
All right, 150.
Basic head
Easy for me to say. 156. My body is not, my brain can't quite. Like, it's sunny, it's nice, it should be warm out, right? I'm not acclimated to fall or winter yet. It sucks outside. Oh, well. Vader doesn't need to go to the dog park again until, like, June, right? You can get dogs can go that long without much exercise. Sure. All right, 244-0077. Email radiobradshaw@gmail.com and follow me on Twitter. Twitter.com/radiobradshaw for almost all of your Bradshaw needs. All right, John Sununu is co-chair of the Romney campaign. He has been one of the most active surrogates. And again, Mitt Romney can only do so many interviews in a day, can only do so many appearances. So you send out surrogates. These are people, kind of picked by and approved by the campaign to go on Fox and Friends or hang out with Megyn Kelly and speak for the campaign. Spread your message, again, as far and wide as possible. And this was John Sununu last night talking to Piers Morgan on CNN, discussing the Colin Powell endorsement of Barack Obama. This is the clip from Piers Morgan.
Is it time he left the party, do you think? Well, I'm not sure how important that is. I do like the fact that Colin Powell's boss, George Herbert Walker Bush, has endorsed Mitt Romney all along. And frankly, when you take a look at Colin Powell, you have to wonder whether that's an endorsement based on issues or whether he's got a slightly different reason for preferring President Obama.
What reason would that be?
Well, I think when you have somebody of your own race that you're proud of being president of the United States, I applaud Colin for standing with him.
Johnson, nice to talk to you.
Huh? I've gone from single-issue voters to single melanin voters. Still waiting for the Colin Powell endorsement of Alan Keyes, Alan West. No? And again, thank you, Mr. Sununu. Just, on yesterday's show. Available at thebradshawshow.com, where you can find a link to show archives there. Yesterday morning, when Colin Powell announced his endorsement, kind of out of the blue. It wasn't even at a campaign event or anything. And according to the Obama team, they didn't even know that it was coming. So it kind of caught everyone off guard. And my initial response, as I explained yesterday, when news breaks of a person of color that favors the Democrats, my go-to site, because I already know what Free Republic is going to do, is Fox Nation. Fox News was smart, moved the comments section off their main website, and kind of created its own little discussion site to keep out the riffraff. So I go to Fox anytime like Michelle Obama's in the news, just to kind of get a sense of the id of the Republican Party. What does the basest of the base think? And I was not disappointed yesterday because it was all, Colin Powell's a racist, and Colin Powell, just because he's blackety black, whatever. So we talked about it yesterday. I brought up a Byron York column from 2009 about the Obama effect. And the gist of York's article then was, see, Barack Obama's policies aren't as popular as they look because black people overwhelmingly support them. Because there's a difference between people and black people, apparently. They're two separate groups. But equal? Maybe we'll get them their own special drinking fountains. Yeah, that's it. And yesterday we talked about what an asinine, concept that was. And Dave Weigel, looked at some races between, white and delightsome, as the Book of Mormon would call them people, where, lo and behold, the Democrat gets 95% of the vote. And perhaps there's an issue beyond mere skin color. Because if what John Sununu or Byron York or what most of the commenters at Fox Nation say is true, well, wouldn't then black Republicans win constantly? You get the Republican vote and the black vote? But yet that doesn't happen. There's a reason Michael Steele is not president of the United States these days, or even involved in elected office. That he would just nominate or just endorse Barack Obama because he's black is one of the dumber things I've heard, but again, fits very well with kind of that Republican message. I mean, this wasn't a gaffe. This wasn't an oops. This is John Sununu on message. Back on 7/17, John Sununu said that Obama doesn't understand the American system because he spent his years in Hawaii smoking something. Yes, he doesn't understand the American system because he was in Hawaii, which apparently now is like Kenya East. I don't. During a conference call, 7/17, Sununu said, "The men and women all over America who have worked hard to build these businesses, their businesses from the ground up, now our economy became the envy of the world. This is the American way, and I wish this president would learn to be an American." Ow. Karen, responding to my linking of this clip. "Not all GOP feel that way. Likely some do. Also, there are plenty of Dem civilians who voted for him for that reason." Now, I understand. Don't paint with the broad brush, but there's a reason Sununu said this on national TV, and that he, I think, rightfully understands that there are a number of Republicans who feel this way. This is a message that the campaign co-chair, wanted to disseminate far and wide. This wasn't just some state senator tasked with speaking for the campaign. This wasn't just commenters at a bad website. This is the campaign co-chair. And you notice Piers Morgan even gave him a chance to kind of, why don't you restate what you're saying? Because I don't think you're saying what you mean to sound like here? And he just blurts it out. Now, again, I never got past Psychology 101 at Iowa State. I'll leave it to you to look up the definition of transference. I did like the guy who said that Meatloaf obviously endorsed Mitt Romney because he's meat. And it's not just, by the way, the fear of a black president. I did enjoy this one from John McCain. Now, John McCain was one of the first high-ranking Republicans to come out and bash Colin Powell for endorsing the president a second time. Because remember, the first time he endorsed Barack Obama was against Mr. Bomb Iran himself, John McCain. So I can understand why there would be, that is an acceptable chip on the shoulder. I understand that one. Decided to double down today, talking to the National Review, and the Colin Powell endorsement comes up. And John McCain said, Colin Powell, interestingly enough, said that Obama got us out of Iraq. But it was Colin Powell, with his testimony before the UN Security Council, that got us into Iraq. Which is true, but I'm curious when conservatives started to believe that was a bad thing. President Powell's decision to invade... Wait. How about Senator Powell's vote to support... Oh. Like, are Republicans now... I understand it's not as popular politically as it once was, and as someone who at the time was told to sit down and shut up and, clap louder, because obviously the invasion of Iraq was a great thing that needed to happen. It's nice to see, I guess, the changing of political opinion, but I'm curious when John McCain believed getting us into Iraq was a bad thing. At what point did he make that switch, or is he just talking out of his backside? Not sure. I'm not sure which one it is. But seriously, Google transference and tell me if it doesn't maybe ring in a way. Maybe that has something to do with Sununu or Byron York. His policies aren't as popular because black people support them more than the general population. There might be some bigger issues at work. When someone who is white and delightsome as Kay Hagan can pull in 95% of the African-American vote. There might just be bigger issues, like the Southern strategy. Or, I don't know, how about this one? Just very simple. Republicans love to talk about how Democrats are the real party of the racist. Look at the Dixiecrats and look at the Solid South. And there's a point to that. But that point generally ends in the mid-'60s when Lyndon Johnson, through his support of the Civil Rights Act, and said, and underestimated things, that he would lose the South for a generation for supporting this. But when the Dixiecrats fled the Democratic Party, where did they go? Where did they find new homes? Where were they accepted with open arms? That might give you a little more insight, Mr. Sununu, the entirety of the Fox audience, as to why there might be an issue here. And I won't repeat. There's language in there I can't repeat. But when Lee Atwater, right, he was the Karl Rove, he was the political genius mind behind Ronald Reagan's run for the White House, sat down and explained what the Southern strategy is. Maybe there's something more at work here than just, well, the color of a man's skin. It maybe has something to do with the character and content of the party you represent, Mr. Sununu? Senator McCain? But it's good to see you walk the line. I'd hate to see you two rhinoed out of the party in favor of Christine. Actually, I take that back. I would love to see Christine O'Donnell as a campaign co-chair. I'm just not that lucky. All right, 244-0077. Email me, radiobradshaw@gmail.com. Twitter.com/Radio Bradshaw to see all the fun things I send to the Iowa GOP and making fun of Ken Sorensen. And it's just too easy. Or go to thebradshawshow.com for almost all of your Bradshaw needs. When we come back, what is this momentum gap? Fantasy? What conservatives are trying to do to deny reality yet again. And considering that reality so far has an undefeated record through the history of mankind, it probably won't work, but the reaction should be interesting when it reasserts itself. We'll talk about that and more when we come back here on The Bradshaw Show on Webcast One Live. Thanks for watching. Back right after this.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
Well, good morning. This is the 7th of June in the Lord's year 2010, and this is day 1 of webcast1live.com. We will begin with Max World Live with my special guest, Tom Coates. In just a minute, there's Tom. Wait. Howdy. And we will be live for the very first time on Webcast One Live. Someday we're going to look back on this and say, gosh, remember that old day in history? Wonder where Walter Cronkite was. He must have been around hanging there too. But actually, it's the beginning of Webcast One Live. And thank you for listening. Thanks, Rob Spearman, and everybody who's put together this project together. And we're ready to go live now. So thanks for listening to MaxWorldLive.com.
I can't tell you that it's going real well from time to time, but it is going.
If your computer's not running up to speed, don't waste any time with 1-800 numbers. Call your local professional at Mid-Iowa Computers. Known for excellent customer service, they can help you with all your computer needs, including 100% electronic malware removal. If you've just had enough of your computer or other electronic device, bring it in to Mid-Iowa Computers and they'll recycle it for free. For more information, visit midiowacomputers.com or call 515-210-8536 and get your computer fixed by someone you can trust.
Open Sesame is Des Moines' premier Lebanese cafe. This month, Open Sesame is offering an unbeatable lunch special on Monday and Tuesdays. Mention the Fallon Forum when you order anything on Open Sesame's delicious lunch menu and get the second item for half price. That's right, buy one, get one for half price. Open Sesame's pita wraps, salads, soup, and mouth-watering Mid-Eastern specialties will have you and your dining partner coming back again and again. Open Sesame at 313 East Locust Street in Des Moines' historic East Village.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
It's time to start.
2:14 on a Friday afternoon.
The basic head bob.
Sun is shining, the president's still black, and getting ready for the weekend, which, according to Loverboy, we've all been working for. 244-0077 is the phone number. All are welcome. Some are even capable. Email radiobradshaw@gmail.com and follow me on Twitter, twitter.com/radiobradshaw. Just go to thebradshawshow.com. All the contact info is waiting there for you, including links to the audio-only stream, if that's what you get down on. Or if you want to go back, watch that discussion on again, the message from the base, which was conveniently relayed later in the day by the Romney campaign co-chair. Now the momentum talk. Barring, the October surprise, the miscellaneous, this Frankenstorm that is heading for the East Coast. Basically what it comes down to now is ground game and get out the vote. This is why the Obama team is putting all their cards in the vote early basket. And there's a very good reason for this, and not just because, hey, it's cool to satellite vote. I've done it before. It's not that bad. In fact, if there's one thing, if you're not going to write a check, because the check probably isn't going to do as much good at this point. Now, volunteering, that's a whole other matter. If you want to give some hours to a campaign, do some door knocking and the like. The best thing you can do right now, if you the least I could do, that sounds perfect for me. Early vote. Down, if you're a Polk County resident, for example, just down there on 2nd Street, they're open tomorrow. It's like 8 to 5. You can find it on the Polk County Auditor's website, Jamie Fitzgerald. It's not the most readable thing, but there's satellite locations depending on your district. Being out in Grimes, the only one I can have is the main one. But like when I lived in Dallas County in 2008, I could go across the street to Dolls and get myself all voted there. I don't think I got a sticker, though. I was kind of disappointed. The I voted sticker. I'm planning on going down tomorrow and getting it out of the way. And for a very simple reason. Every vote that is cast ahead of time is one person the campaigns can cross off their list on Election Day when get out the vote really matters. And that is, do you need a ride? Do you need to know where your polling place is? You may get multiple calls through the day. You tell them, hey, I'm planning on voting after work. You may get a call at 5:30 saying, hey, did you vote? You may get a call at 7. Did you vote? This operation, again, this is a place where Obama has a real decided advantage. And to maximize that, you want to get as many people voting early as possible. The other angle to it is this momentum issue talked about at the beginning of the show, where you send George Bush to California as a kind of a head fake or a deke, or we heard how the Romney campaign believes that Pennsylvania's in play and they're going to be sending operatives and spending money there. In some cases, it's a state that has a strong lean one way, but you want to force the other party to spend money there to defend their turf. But a lot of times it's simply just a matter of we want the idea of momentum. And Jonathan Bernstein did a really good write-up of this in the Washington Post. How the last week has been spent with Republicans pushing to convince people that Mitt Romney is just wrapping up the election. It's all said and done. Now it's just a time to put a bow on it. If you listen to any, Rush or Hannity, that's the message you're going to get, is that it's over, and look at Rasmussen and it's all set and don't worry about it. Now, that's not exactly true. But then again, it's coming from Rush, so what do you expect? Because while national polls, again, can give us information, you do want to keep it in context. For example, yes, Gallup shows, I think it's Romney with a 3-point lead today, which is actually down from the 7 he was at. But when you look, for example, at Obama's numbers from the South, and he has a 22-point deficit. Well, that's included in a national poll. When you look at the states, and the kind of list of swing states, Ohio, Nevada, Colorado, Wisconsin, Michigan, Iowa, and North Carolina. Now, you can write off North Carolina. That's Romney's. He can have it. Michigan, not a Romney state. Wisconsin, which is pretty much in the has-to-have, not a Romney state. Colorado, Nevada, not Romney states. Ohio, as we speak, Nate Silver's got it a 74.8% chance for Obama. So that's certainly not necessarily a toss-up. And again, these are must-win states. Iowa is relatively irrelevant. We still have a 68% chance to go Obama, though, just for pride at this point. Remember, we don't do a national poll. Thanks to the Electoral College, it's 50 state elections. Now, there are arguments on both sides whether the just straight popular vote total is the way to go. There's certainly advocates there. There are advocates for the Electoral College, but this is the system that we do have. Even giving Florida to Romney. And to give you Obama has a better chance of winning Iowa than Romney does of winning Florida. The state-by-state numbers, the map, if you will, the 50-state map, is not in Romney's favor, and he needs a lot of things to break his way, and just to make the math work. And this is where the big Mo talk. Again, ask any sports fan. Momentum is the most important thing a team can have, but it can disappear at any time. So this Jared Bernstein article talks about why they push the momentum game. So the first group that you're trying to influence are true, independent, undecided voters. Don't pay much attention to politics, and if they vote, it's at this point a coin flip as to where they're going. You want to create momentum, again, for the reason we talked about earlier, and that is there are a bunch of people who want to get on the team for the big win and will vote in the way they believe the election will turn out. They want to be on the right side. Whether they mentally acknowledge it or not, it influences their vote. Second group are partisans, I'm a Democrat, I'm a Republican, who fall through likely voter screens, or even out of answering polls at all. I love them. Call me all day, every day. I'm more than happy to press 1 for Obama, or say I'm very likely to vote. The lady friend, on the other hand, will pass her phone on to me. Sick of him, tired of him, doesn't want to talk to him at all. Different people answer different polls. And we saw this with the first debate. We saw a number of kind of disenchanted Republicans all of a sudden, somewhat go from somewhat likely to I will definitely vote. And that affects the polls. Not that their vote necessarily changed at all, but certainly affects the polls because they move from registered voter to likely voter. And they're two completely separate screens that pollsters use as they move closer and closer to Election Day. And when it comes to polling, there's 3 separate groups. There's kind of the population as a whole. Then there's registered voters. Because if you're not even registered, odds are, statistically, you will not vote. It's very unlikely that you will. And as we move, into September and especially October, pollsters then move to the likely voter. Because not every registered voter, obviously, comes out and votes. In some cases, it's not that high a percentage of registered voters. So, in an effort to maintain accuracy Or in some case, yes, drive a narrative, which is more often than not, our polls make news, you should hire us as your pollster. The likely voter screen comes in. In the case of Gallup, it's, we'll ask you 7 questions. If you answer 6 of them correctly, not who you're voting for, but, did you vote before, example. Have you early voted? Those sorts of things to make it through the screen. There were a lot of people who were, oh, God. They saw the first debate. They saw Romney, doing this to the president, and they kind of got off on that, and they became more energized. And third group, the so-called undecided voters whose ultimate decision is basically predictable. These are I'm an independent. I used to love doing this to call. I'm an independent voter. Who'd you vote for in 08? McCain. Who'd you vote for in 04? Bush. Who'd you vote for in 2000? Bush. Who'd you vote for in 96? Dole. You go back through the late. But I'm an undecided voter, which I understand. The Republican Party is a tainted brand at this point, so a lot of people may not want to be associated with the party of Rick Santorum for fear of getting it on themselves. But they still are a reliable vote that way. And again, the winning narrative is more likely to bring them out to vote. They're not showing up at campaign rallies. They're throwing away the oodles of junk mail you get. But again, that momentum, that winning, or at least getting campaign more attention, getting more of your surrogates in front of their face than the other guys. This is what Republicans are pushing today, and it's why folks like Rush are telling them that this election's over. Romney's won. All we have to do now is put a bow on it. And I am so looking forward to election night. Their tears will sustain me for years. And again, this isn't high-minded. I'm not, taking the high road on this one at all. But after, 4 or 5 years of birthers and not my president and God winning and Kenyan anti-colonialism for a president who has a deep-seated hatred of white culture, the Schadenfreude is what I'm looking forward to, and it shall be glorious. Now, again, this isn't as sexy a story, and it's far more complicated to talk about than just reading off poll numbers. But when it comes to actually winning an election, ground game, ground game, ground game. You hear the term a lot, but what does it mean? It means boots on the ground. It means campaign volunteers, paid staffers, offices, phone banks, vehicles to drive people, to carpool to voting locations, getting buses, going to the senior center. Who wants to come vote? Let's go. And it pays off in droves. Evidence points to between a 1 and a 2 point boost in the polls by having a superior ground game to your opponent. And just to give you some idea of some of the numbers we're working with, in Ohio, Obama for America has 131 field offices. Romney has 40. In Florida, it's 106. Romney has 47. Virginia, it's 61-30. You're seeing double, in some cases triple the amount of offices. Molly Ball in the Atlantic decided to do some inspection on the ground game. It's not as sexy a story as Momentum or who Meatloaf is singing with these days. But she brings up a very important point. These Obama offices are Obama offices. Democratic Party of Iowa has, their own. Leonard Boswell will have his own. the Obama offices are for Obama. This was one of the complaints Democrats had in 2008, is that the campaign didn't do enough for down-ticket races. Meanwhile, well, at an unfinished space on the backside of a strip mall next to a Sleepy's mattress outlet. Never heard of that. On one side of the room, under a Gadsden flag, the Don't Tread on Me, and a poster of Sarah Palin on a horse, 2 long tables of landline telephones were arrayed. Most of the signs, literature, and buttons on display were for local Republicans. A volunteer in a Wolf for Congress, local Republican congressman, T-shirt was directing traffic. This is the difference. The Romney campaign has outsourced their offices to the RNC, which is fine and dandy, but understand the Republican National Committee, for example, here in Iowa, is just as duty-bound to Steve King, John, don't call him Sterling Archer, Ben Lang, as they are to Mitt Romney. These are RNC operations. These aren't Romney deals. And so that's time that is not spent on the goal. Not only do they have fewer offices, again, those offices' duties are far more scattered. Obama built what was considered at the time as a kind of a ground game, in a way, and never dismantled it. If anything, built upon it. We've had, political operatives from Obama for America in this state. Some of them have just set up shop since 2007 and never left. And I think that ground game, at the end of the day, is going to put, or at least keep, Ohio as Obama territory, Michigan, Wisconsin. Again, I'm willing to write off Florida. I'm willing to write off North Carolina. Why? Because we don't need them. But when all the talk of, momentum and wrapping it up comes, out, just remember, reality tends to win, and math is very hard to argue with. So enjoy the weekend, relax if you got some time. Volunteer, phone bank. They really do make it as easy as possible on the Obama side. Just go look up the dashboard, and it'll pretty much take care of everything for you. But, again, I understand. It's the least I can do mentality. It's probably late to write a check, so just go vote. Go down, Polk County Auditor's Office. They have the early voting set up. Go to their website, find the location nearest you, get out, and get your vote counted. That's one less person, again, they have to deal with on Election Day for get out the vote efforts. We'll reconvene on Monday. Who knows? We'll say something stupid or maybe race baiting, dog whistly. So we'll reconvene on Monday and get ready for the last week of this election, which I cannot wait to be over. In the meantime, email radiobradshaw@gmail.com, and follow me on Twitter, twitter.com/radiobradshaw for fun and frivolity, and because I'm an absolute feedback junkie. So we'll reconvene on Monday. Until then, stay warm. And thanks for watching The Bradshaw Show here on Webcast One Live. See you on Monday.
I'm just saying. 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 Ching ching. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
Feeling alone? God knows and He understands. Chat now with someone who cares at groundwire.net.
Well, hi, I'm Rob Spearman. I'm a broker-owner of RE/MAX Real Estate Concepts in Des Moines, Iowa. Give us a call if you're looking at buying or selling a home, or if you're having trouble on your mortgage payments or looking to purchase foreclosures. We have the agents to help you, experienced, outstanding agents. Our office number is 515-276-2872. Or if you'd like to look at homes, go to our website, homeconnectusa.com.
Hi, I'm J. Michael McCoy, and about 20 years ago, I went to a used car salesman by the name of John Hewitt. He had a little shop over there on North 2nd Avenue called John's Auto Sales, and I bought a car. I found that experience to be one that I had never had before from a used car salesman. He was honest, he was dependable, he had integrity, and he did what he said he was going to do. Well, over the years, between my kids and grandkids, I've purchased 7 vehicles from John's Auto Sales. And last month, I asked him to be a sponsor. And he said not only would he like to be a sponsor, but he would offer a $100 tithe for every customer that came and bought a car from him directly to the church of your choice. I can tell you about their huge selection. I can tell you about their years of experience. I can tell you about their honest integrity. But all I really need to tell you is that I bought 7 cars, and you can trust them. John's Auto Sales, 5435 2nd Avenue, Des Moines.
You need a good ride when you hit the trail. Trust the man with the cars, and he goes by the name of Big John. Big John. Big John. From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.